Welcome to Fortune Cookie Tarot. It's me and Pusheen. Look up Pusheen. So, we're going to be talking about Justin Bieber today. Pusheen's down in the office hanging out, having a great time. We'll be right back. Welcome to Fortune Cookie Tarot. I'm Annabelle. Pusheen took off. She does not want to be on camera today. So, Pusheen has now gotten very comfortable coming down into my office. So, you may see her more frequently. You also may see my black cat, AJ. He seems to be getting a little bit braver and wants to come down here. But Lily, our other black cat, is probably going to stay upstairs. She's very, very chill. But we're going to be talking about some not so chill stuff today. We're going to be talking about Justin Bieber. So apparently he has been not looking great in terms of physical behavior, physical stature. He looks very thin, very worn. And there was some questionable behavior witnessed at Coachella. Not like he was doing anything really zany and wild, but he just looked like he was a little out of it. So I wanted to do a little reading on him. So we're going to bring up the card view. But before I do that, my schedule is open for readings this weekend. So make sure you go look at the link down below. And if you'd like to sun yourself by the pool or while you're doing gardening or something like that, if you want to learn how to read tarot like me, you can also sign up for my digital academy. There's a link in the description there as well. And right now I have bundles and mini courses on sale. So it's a tremendous value. I want you guys to take advantage of it before we go up to full pricing. So I'll see you hopefully in there. But let's bring up that card view. I hope you're having a great week so far. I hope life is treating you well. Spring is springing in your area of the world, except for my Australian friends and my New Zealand friends, because you guys are getting fall. So, but I love fall too. I like all the seasons. So let's see what his current energy and well-being is. What is Justin Bieber's current emotional and energetic state? We're going to do a Celtic cross on this, a little mini Celtic cross. The Star, King of Wands, Knight of Swords in reverse, the Lovers in reverse, Six of Wands, and the King of Swords. This does not look that bad, guys. The Star sometimes can be loftiness, getting out of your head, if you know what I'm saying, getting into higher realms. So it can be that, especially when paired with this King of Wands, because the King of Wands can be a little bit flighty, can be a little bit impulsive at times, and will lean into the things that feel really good and seem really good, but sometimes not looking at the path for the future. Coupled with this Six of Wands, I do think that he is developing a more positive approach toward the future. The Lovers in reverse here. Keeping in mind, for any of my new followers, when I read the Lovers, it rarely comes up. I shouldn't say rarely. It more so comes up as business arrangements, contracts, things like that. Commitments to between parties, between people, between companies. So it's not necessarily just the Lovers. You always have to think this is about cooperative living. This is part of the interpersonal section of the major arcana. This is when the Fool on his journey through life is now starting to integrate with other parties, and he's learning how to play nicely in the playground. So this is stepping away from some of the things that are not serving us best. So, and here we have this cutting away energy too at the bottom of it. So Is Justin Bieber was this trip to Coachella kind of a last hurrah? All of us that were party animals back in the day, remember there's that one night that was kind of like your last hurrah, and it was like, "I really can't top this. We're gonna step away from this after." Bands do it, actors do it, all sorts of people do that. So I think that maybe the energy that he is coming back from Coachella with is, "I've gotta cut some of these bozos out of my life. I've gotta cut some of this energy out of my life that is not going to serve me best in the future." Is this a confirming kind of thinking pattern? Yes. Is this then looking to the future, not necessarily high as a kite, but looking to the future in a more positive way? Yes, as well. Do we go from the King of Wands, who's a little bit flaky and doing things that he likes to do, to someone who is more strategic and more forward thinking with a lot less passion? I think that's what we have here. Justin Bieber possibly turning into some kind of a producer, I think, is on the horizon. What's going on with his physical health, though? Why is he so thin? Why so thin, JB? Why so thin? Yeah, there is something going on here physically. Now, I don't think it's like the Ozempic or anything like that. I don't think he's Manjaroing away. Um, but it's almost like he's adhering to um a physical lifestyle regimen, nutrition plan of when he was younger. I think all of his data, like his stats, like if you took his blood sugar, his blood pressure, I think all of that looks good. And I think that that is something that he's like, well, it looks great. I mean, Bruce Lee said the same thing, body of an 18-year-old, and that was like, 6 months before he passed away. Um, I think his data looks good, and I'm a data person myself. So, like, if my temperature is good, my blood pressure is good, my blood sugar is good, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of doing the right thing. It doesn't matter if I'm a few pounds overweight or if my skin's breaking out or something like that. But in this case, I think the data is something that he should not be looking at. I think he should be looking more toward um other kinds of treatment for his physical body. I don't like the way his heart feels. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like the way his heart feels. Now, is that due to substances, energy drinks, something like that? It could be. It could be that, he was a very young age and he was putting a lot of, chemical type things into his body. But it also could be something that maybe was impressed upon all of us over the last few years, if you know what I mean. But I don't like how his heart feels. And he's so young. I feel like his heart is doing something very interesting. I don't want to say it's like a flutter, like an AFib, but I'm wondering if there's maybe like a heart murmur or something in there. I don't like the way his heart feels. And I think he is starting to feel this if he were to like play rec basketball with like some friends, or if he were to run around in the yard. I know he has a young child. He's going to be doing that soon. I think he's going to feel out of breath. And it's not that his lungs are compromised, but it's something with his heart. His heart is not as efficient as possible. He's too young to be sent over to a cardiologist on the reg. But if I were a spiritual advisor to him, I would say, go have a full workup. Like, have them look at your heart, have them do just a scan to see if everything's kind of doing what it should do. That is just the way I feel about it. But I think all of his stats and data say that he's a healthy young man. They have to look deeper underneath some of the layers. So I'm wondering if that's where this thinness is coming from. Very interesting. I'm going to say it again. I would love for him to have his heart kind of checked out. Is he experiencing some kind of spiritual or emotional burnout? Emotional spiritual. Because he is religious, I don't think that the religious burnout is there. I think perhaps we will see a revival of him being a bit more spiritual, in a bit more of a public form. I think we may see that. This emotional burnout, if I sound like what's his name? Uncle Roger. Emotional damage. I love Uncle Roger. So this emotional burnout, I think he needs to cut ties with the past. You guys know what I mean about that. We're talking about a little bit of Selena here. I think he really does. I think Selena Gomez, we all know she's engaged to Benny Blanco. She's adorable. My oldest sister looks just like her. So cute. Um, and I think that he is experiencing the final stage of mourning that relationship, the final stage of mourning the Justin Bieber that was the boyfriend of Selena Gomez, because we do have to kind of pack up these personalities that we are, put them in a box and let them go. We do have that to a certain extent. Um, and I think that maybe that is a struggle that has been recent, and perhaps having someone hold his hand through this, and it can't be Hailey, it can't be his wife, because that creates a whole nother layer of emotion. So it can't be Hailey. But I think that yes, this it's not necessarily an emotional burnout, but it's a transformation of self. He is turning into a different person. I say this all the time. Every 7 years, we transform our personality into something just modified, slightly different. So is this a personal evolution for him? Is this a personal evolution for him? Yes, it's a new beginning and it's a change. We are going to see a very different person after this. We are not going to see. Well, okay, I'm not going to say that. We are going to see a different Justin Bieber after this. He needs to step away from the fragility of being Justin Bieber. What does that mean? That means with all of the Diddy stuff, all the conversation about that, all the videos that popped up, the sound bites, he needs to take a large grown up step away from that. Put your work boots on, baby, and take a large grown up step away from whatever went down. He does not want to be involved in that whole Diddy thing. And I'm going to do a Diddy video too, because on Fan Favorite Friday, a lot of people were asking, and for some reason, they all went into my whole held comments on YouTube. So I am definitely going to do a Diddy video. In fact, I think you're going to get both of these on Friday. So this transformation, he's at a crossroads. I'm surprised that we don't have the hangman, or if we were using Lenormand, the crossroads, because the hangman is at a crossroads. He is trying to find his way from his behaviors before. He's trying to discover where he lands in the whole situation. And Justin Bieber is really doing that right now. Is it a dark night of the soul? I think it's a shady night of the soul for him right now. I do think it is. He has to stop people pleasing. And this is something that happens to a lot of child celebrities. They get into this trope and this habit of people pleasing. You'll hear it from a lot of child actors, because they were set on a sound stage, set on a stage and asked to perform. No, do it again better. No, do it one more time. Hit me, baby, one more time. This people pleasing, doing it as best as you can. One of my favorite moments in Michael Jackson's career is when he recorded so the song "Who's Lovin' You" was written by Smokey Robinson, and he recorded it. But everyone remembers the Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson singing that song. I want all of you, when you're done with this video, to go look at it. I'll link it in the description. It is one of the most amazing performances, and I think he was 10. I think he was 10 years old. So these kids that are brought up performing are really taught to be perfect. And I referenced this Michael Jackson song, this Jackson 5 song. And Smokey Robinson's really funny. He's got a funny take on it. He's like, everyone says, "Oh, it's such a great song," and he's like, "Yeah, but it was my song. I wrote it. I recorded it. He just did it better." So I think this perfectionism that young performers are forced into, and I don't mean that by coercion or anything, it's just by the nature of the beast. Like, it doesn't have to be that producers and managers and parents were forcing these kids to be perfect, but it's the nature of the job, it's the nature of the beast to be perfect. And I think that level of people pleasing has transmitted into Justin's adult life without him even realizing it. So if there's a bunch of goofy friends that are over, maybe when he was younger in his early 20s, a bunch of goofy friends, and they say, "Hey, let's spend $1 million and go to Vegas for the weekend." He's like, "All right," like, it's not that he is foolish. I mean, there's a component of that because of course he's a young kid, but there's more of, I want everybody to be happy with me. I want everybody to be pleased with me. Justin has an opportunity right now to please Justin, to make himself the one that he serves. And that sounds incredibly selfish, but I don't think that it is for him. I think that if he decides who his tribe is, if it's Hailey and his child, then he needs to go full bore and make sure that Hailey and his child are happy at all times, and that they are going to find that bliss at the risk of losing everyone else. I don't think that that's a bad thing. So, very, very heavy, heavy spiritual stuff that is going on with JB. So let's see what he needs to do. I'm not going to speculate on what the relationship is. What does he need to do to cement his tribe right now? Hailey, baby, any other babies that come in the future. What does he need to do to cement his tribe? Get away from home. That's one thing. Not worry about spending money. Look at the broken things. That is very interesting. What does he need to do to cement things with his immediate family? So, getting away from home. So for celebrities, this can actually mean selling a home and moving into another one. Getting, in the movie Love Stings, French Stewart did a movie called Love Stings, and there's a part of the movie where him and his former fiance, returned fiance, he says, "Let's sell the house. It's like the Manson Ranch," because they had been fighting in it so much. And I do think that, one of the things that Shelly and I, my business partner and I, we have a faction of Fortune Cookies LLC, Fortune Cookies Tarot LLC, called Charming Homes. And one of the things that we do is create energetic things that you can do to energetically change the profile of your house. So when people come in, it feels very warm, it feels very inviting. Or if you have a salesperson coming, you can make it a little less inviting, a little less comfortable, kind of barbish. So you can actually change the energetic profile of your house. If you're fighting and there's discord in a house, you sometimes have to clean that out. You have to take a big step away from that. So this is critical for what is going on. They need to get a change of perspective, not a holiday. they need somebody to come in and do an energetic cleaning, whether it's a shaman that tra-la-las around the house or just to open up the windows. Opening up the windows and then having a cleaning crew come in and clean is an actual really, really good way to do that. It's a simple way to do it. Germans do it all the time. They open the windows in their home and they let fresh air in when the weather is just right. So here, stop trying to make money in the moment. Just live the way we are. Experience the pain instead of letting the pain show up whenever it wants, instead of letting the emotional hurt kind of bubble up to the surface periodically. Go experience it. Go look it dead in the eye. Go to the mirror and look it dead in the eye and go, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to partner with this anymore. It is not my legacy. I am not going to be the troubled musician that burned out and faded away after he had it all. I'm not going to be the Kurt Cobain, the Phil Hartman. I know Phil Hartman didn't do it, but Phil Hartman was a victim of something. So, but I'm not going to be a Hollywood tragedy. I almost want to say he needs to move out of Hollywood and he needs to go back to, I mean, I know he's from Canada, but somehow I feel that he belongs like in the South, in the United States, Louisiana, Alabama. He belongs somewhere down there. Um, that is a place where he can actually take a breath and be in the moment. And this is saying goodbye to living outside of the moment. Stop living in the past. Stop letting the past hurts define your life moving forward and decide where we are going to go from here. So I do think that that is, and I see them getting a place in the South. Like, and I know like with the whole Blake Lively thing, everyone's talking about plantation life and, not cool. But I feel like they pick up like one of those big country homes in the South someplace. They pick up one of those homes and that's where they raise their kids. And I do think there are more kids coming. So what is his higher self trying to communicate to him? Where is he being called? Is he being called to heal, to retreat, to reinvent? What is his higher self trying to tell him? So this is going to be direct message from the higher self to Justin Bieber. And don't forget to like this video if you haven't already. Oof, heavy message from higher self. So higher self, these are the gods that direct us. Our spiritual HR directors are involved in this. I always talk about them. They are in the in-between. So the message that they are trying to convey is that everything does not always go your way. The most blessed lives, you still don't have control over that wheel of fortune. The wheel of fortune is still going to crush you at times. No one rides high forever on top of things. No one. Here, the Hierophant, this is a reminder that God gives grace. God also gives challenges. That is part of the grace of God, is that he or she will present us with challenges to enrich us. And here we must give ourselves into that flow. We have to do that. That is part of our mission as these little humans, little spirits walking around in meat suits. That is part of our mission here, is that we have to deal with the challenges that God set in front of us. We don't have to bitch and whine and stamp our feet about it. The hurt here, the body, the soul, the spirit wants to heal. That is the message from his higher self. And up here, sometimes we have to take a fast track. The strength card in reverse is sometimes you got to take the fast track. Sometimes you have to shake it off and not complain about it forever. I dated a guy when I was in my 20s who was in his early 30s and his family was still indulging him to the point where he never had a job. Because his parents got divorced when he was 7, and it was really hard on him. And I don't even know if he's gotten a job yet. So we're well in our 50s. But I think this is very positive for Justin because it's saying, the path to wholeness, the path to spiritual reset is not always long and arduous. It's not, 12 years of therapy. So future trajectory, what energy surrounds the next 3 to 6 months? Is that Lovers in reverse again, kids? Two of Swords. Like I said, we still have to pick a path here. Which way are we going to go? Are we going to be crybaby in our crybaby soup? Or are we going to rise like the phoenix and turn into something different and regain control over our life? Letting go of being stuck. The Eight of Swords. I want to remind everybody, look at her. She can walk right out of that. She can get out of it. The binds are loose. You can see that bottom one is just hanging off there. This is something we can walk out of. There is no problem so great that we cannot overcome. But resetting, going back to the factory reset, he doesn't have to go back to the factory reset. He can reset and go to something different. He can find something different and find great joy in that. Departing from the world and the people that have made him feel poorly and bad is critical for him as well. In the immediate future, we don't know where he's going to be. We don't know if he takes this information and he goes into the wilds like our hermit and considers what he has learned. We don't know if he does that. He may not. So I think his next 3 to 6 months are about choosing which path he is going to land on, which part of his recovery is he going to embrace. So is it a recovery where we are no longer rolling around in the mud with the pigs, or is it a recovery where we become some kind of monster? I'm going to say that he has a choice now to either become an evolved spirit or to devolve into some kind of monster, some kind of terrible Hollywood story. So I think Justin Bieber is one to watch right now. Fortunately, he does have a really good spiritual foundation through his family. So fortunately, he's got that. Hopefully, he's going to heed the call. He's going to hear his spirit talking to him. And he's going to rise like a phoenix and be a great family guy. I don't want to say save his marriage, but create a new path for his marriage. Have a new outlook on his marriage, and hopefully make some more beebs. So, and I do think that moving to the South, and I don't suggest things like this to my regular clients who are regular people like me and you, but I think Justin Bieber moving to the South, picking up his main home and moving to the South may be a very interesting prospect for him. I think it may be very healing and very beneficial and very peaceful for him. There are a lot more people that will be interested in his spiritual survival in that part of the world, or in that part of the United States. So I hope you enjoyed this. This was a heavy reading. Sometimes I don't go this heavy, but I am going to do one on Diddy because it was requested repeatedly. And like I said, all of those comments were held. So stick around and I will have another reading out for you a little bit later today. All right. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks so much for being here. Welcome to all the new subscribers from Trevor Cole. Trevor gave me a shout out the other day, and I saw a little subscriber bloom. Bloop. So I got some more people here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And this weekend, I'm going to set up some members only, a members only live and a live for Saturday. So you guys will see me later on Saturday. Okay. I'll see you later. Bye.